So I would like to the panel discussion on redefining collaboration for the sustainable apparel industry. And my first question will be Mr. Shodder Demiriklu. I don't know whether I pronounce your name correctly.
It's not easy. This is Turkish name, and I
Yes.
have Turkish surname.
Yeah. So sales and marketing director to Kaiser Textile. And my question to you is, supply chain companies like the Kaiser Textile are the integral part of the industry. How they can contribute to promote sustainability in the industry, you think? So if you kindly share your thoughts on the topic.
Thank you very much. First, thanks for having us, for all of us, and thanks for raising up that question to me as well. Let me explain shortly who is Kaiser. Kaiser is a leading laundry, auxiliary, and colorants provider company by giving skillful support all around the world by providing sustainable laundry products. And for the sustainability, the companies, like chemical companies like Kaiser, has a critical important in order to implement sustainability in the market. And at the Kaiser Textile, we are committed to driving laundry, sustainable laundry practices in the industry. And according to me, for sustainability, for the laundry applications, laundry processes has impact from water and energy consumption to chemical usage in the laundry industry. And for the chemical part, if we are talking about chemicals, people are talking about good chemicals or bad chemicals. But what matter is that where we are using chemicals, how we are using, and what we are giving to environment actually. The fashion industry needs chemical, we know that. But in the history, there are lots of chemicals are using in the laundries, and we know that they are both hurt environment and humans as well. And our goal, our aim, is to create some alternatives of that hazardous chemicals, and this is our goal as well. For that part, we have lots of things to do because we have some challenges in the laundry industries like pumicestone, permanganate, and hypochlorite. And for that kind of hazardous products, we have already some alternatives. And we believe that for the sustainability, is the key point is collaboration. And that's why we are trying to actively collaborate with some key stakeholders like brands, machine suppliers, some other supply chain partners. And we are trying to attend to them, making some workshops together, attending some forum together. And by fostering the collaboration and sharing the knowledge together, our aim to accelerate the implemented the sustainable laundry practices in the industry. And by this way, we believe that we can create awarenesses of the chemical usage in the laundry industry, I can say that. As a last word, I can only say that, as I mentioned at the beginning, we are committed to sustainability laundry things through our innovative laundry products and collaborations and creating some new ecological products in the industry, I can say that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shoda, for sharing your insights. And we have among us Mr. Dennis Charello, area manager Tonello. And there is no denying that innovation would be one of the key components in redefining the industry. And Tonello, as we know, one of the market leader in the technology. So my question to you is, how can technology and innovation be leveraged to accelerate the momentum of sustainability? And what barriers must be overcome to achieve this, you think?
Okay. Good afternoon to everybody. So, as a Tonello, we started 20 years ago to come to Bangladesh to bring innovation for sustainability. And when I used to go to customer at that time, they were telling to me, why we should save water when the water is coming free from the ground? Why? What the reason? So we were innovating already 20 years ago, discussing about this. Now today, logically, the technology is the driving key to bring sustainability in the market. But my concern is different because I mean, what does it mean sustainability in these days? Because everybody is speaking, using this word as a marketing word, but is it sustainable to pay the gas 200% more and to get the reduction of the cost of the garment of 30% in this moment? This is part of the sustainability that is not happening in reality. It's a marketing tools using by everybody to sell machine, to sell garment, to sell everything, but has to be sustainable for all the industries, not only for the profit of somebody, but for everybody. So when I go to sell a machine and they are buying a different machine because they say, no, your machine is too expensive, I'm saving 50% of the water, yeah, but still it's too expensive, I cannot afford. This is not a sustainable way to think. And this is not sustainable when the buyer is coming to you asking 30% reduction on price where all the cost is going to sky. This is not sustainable for the human being, for the human living. And when somebody go to the shop to buy a garment and they want a water-free garment, no water in the garment, they have to be willing to pay something extra for this. This becomes sustainable because otherwise sustainability is a nice word everybody is using, but has not a real meaning, because sustainable is to live everybody in a good way and to do business properly. Sustainable business has to come. So this is my aspect, and in Tonello we are trying to bring this mentality in the market, but it's still very difficult because the God of today is a profit. So this God is going everywhere speaking the only one word. What is your profit at the end of the year? If we don't change this mentality, I think will be very difficult to sustain the business in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing pointing to very important question, the meaning of sustainability, and especially during the COVID, we saw that the sustainability has been put in the big question, and that's why my next question to Mr. Alumgir Kobi, and my question to you, we also that how COVID has impacted the supply chain of the apparel industry. So we would like to hear from you what measures can be taken to improve supply chain resilience and reduce the risks of future disruptions. So if you kindly share your thoughts.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your question. So, as we all know, that during COVID, the supply chain has been like almost collapsed. So because of that, the apparel industry is heavily relies on the global supply chain. We buy all these materials like fabrics, stems, all these components all over the world. So during COVID, due to the restriction, lockdowns, and the border closure, like everything was almost like get stuck. So this was had a like a severe impact on the business, overall apparel industry. During the COVID time, our due to the like supply chain impact, the material did not in-house on time. Like most of our factories was like impacted badly on that. And during the COVID time, actually the buying end consumer buying behavior also like shifted significantly. They try to like reduce buying, and then it has a global impact to all those retailers. And like if I give you an example, like Zara, the Inditex group, they had like sales was declined by 24%, so they had to pay off the inventory of around $300 million. So which has a direct impact to our manufacturers, since they don't they have less order. They are forced to close like during pandemic, like some of the factories for temporarily, and they were like following the guideline of COVID, so they need to work with like lesser worker, lesser people, so that has a big impact. So to bringing resilience on the supply chain, I would say there should be some specific strategy. One would be investing on the infrastructure, especially bringing the materials closer to the needle point. If you just talk about some of our like man-made fabrics and the other fabrics like components we are buying from overseas, like if we can have a like proper collaboration with our friends or partners in the overseas like China or other countries, like to bring the technology and knowledge over here, then we can have a better success. Then we can have the materials in country closer to the needle point, we can react quickly. Second, second point would be, I would say, then we need to have a strategic partnership with those our key all stakeholders, so that we can have that open communication. We can time to time update ourselves, and we, based on the during the pandemic or during the crisis, we can react quickly, so that we know what's happening around the business. And then apart from that, I think we need to have also invest on the technology for supply chain, that we know it, like the real-time tracking or maybe RFIDs or something like that, so that we also data analytics, so that we know that what is the bottleneck, and we can react onto it, that we can immediately work around the alternative plan. And apart from that, I would like to also say that we need to have a diversified supply base, that we don't rely on one supplier, so we or one country. We should be having that multiple options. So if we are having difficulties with one country or one specific supplier, then we can look around other options to mitigate the risk. And lastly, I think this would be the key strategy for resilience on the supply chains and bringing success to the business. Here, the today's topic is the collaboration and sustainability. I would like to emphasize more on this point, that because these two words is so important for the business, for the existence, for the business existence and for the business success, because collaboration and sustainability it's going to be very important in the coming days, and we all need to collaborate together for the business success or for our better world in future. Thank you.
Thank you. And my next question is to Dr. Karthik Andy. And we all know the role of consumers is vital for the sustainable apparel industry. Recently, we are hearing that consumers like the Generation Z or the even millennials, they are making conscious fashion choices. So in light of that, my question to you is, how can consumers be brought into the conversation in redefining collaboration for the sustainable apparel industry, and what role they play in promoting sustainability, you think?
Thank you, Omar. Thank you, Denim Expo, Mr. Mustafis, for arranging this. It's a very vital topic in the current context. When we talk about collaboration, keywords like collaboration, redefining the collaboration and sustainability, we would like to look at a larger picture. When we look at larger picture, here I would like to take this terminology of consumers. Rather than consumers, I would like to see them as people. So when at Eurofins, with the motto of testing for life, we have always focused on people and the planet. So what happens is, when we talk about anything we do, if it is not going to make a positive impact towards people, not positive impact towards the planet, it doesn't make sense for us, and that is not sustainable. If you look at a larger picture in terms of sustainability goals, one of the very important goals, goal number 12 on responsible production and consumption, talks very much about sustainability in the apparel industry, where as of now, apparel industry uses 98 million tons of non-renewable materials, out of which only 12% is coming from recyclable material, which is also not non-renewable, but still somehow it is recycled. We all know the global apparel size is around 1.5 trillion in 2021, and which is growing. But how many of us know what is the percentage of sustainable clothing in this? Anybody? Percentage of sustainable clothing in 1.5 trillion global apparel exports. It's only 3.9% in 2021. Only 3.9% out of the global 1.5 trillion, which is expected to reach about 6% in 2025. So, which is negligible. So, and all are happening, this is exactly the same scenario about the awareness of sustainable clothing. Right? None of us, even when I started thinking, reading, researching about this, then only I also came to know the percentage of sustainable clothing is very less, and it needs lots of awareness, lots of value creation, knowledge awareness. So that is where Eurofins contributes to lots and lots of testing. And there is a concept called as Fashion Transparency Index. It talks about how much transparent the organizations are, but sustainability index on clothing is not measured anywhere. So unless otherwise we take meaningful steps in terms of measuring and mentioning this in the garments, in the clothing. We are recently working with a UK-based brand where when they scan a QR code in their garment, it will come, the Eurofins test report will show how much of chemicals, how much sustainable the garment is. That is the kind of transparency, engaging the people, engaging the consumers we are bringing in. And we have seen a very nice fashion show yesterday where we have a collection on coated garments. But if you look at latest regulation from US, there is a presence of PFAS, that is perchlorofluoroalkyl, which is called as a forever chemical that never gets removed from the supply chain. It will always stay forever. It is not biodegradable. So those kind of testings are being offered, and awareness is being created. And that are all the different ways Eurofins is contributing in terms of creating awareness, in terms of the product. And when it comes to process, and in that Fashion Transparency Index, there are 250 major apparel brands have signed, whereas only 11% of the brands, which is roughly less than 30, 11% out of 250, is declaring or is publishing the wastewater test reports in their domains, in their portals. Okay, so wastewater test report talks about environmental sustainability. So publishing that, the transparency, the ESG reporting has become very vital in these days. So Eurofins can contribute, one, measuring the ESG impacts, that is environment, social and governance. So environmental focus and social focus is on doing, and governance is about declaring and documenting and declaring in the way people can understand. It's not only for the investor, it's for the consumers as well. So this is the way we have to work together. We have to collaborate with all the agencies as a multi-stakeholder industry, and we would be able to provide such innovative and scientific solutions to the industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Karthik, for sharing some of the technical aspects of sustainability. We may know that Team Group is regarded one of the most successful group in making the successful story within a shorter period of time, and also renowned for its sustainable practices. So my next question I would like to ask to Mr. Abdullah Rakib. So whenever we come to discuss the collaboration, the point of collaboration between buyers and manufacturers is very important. So my question to you is, how can collaboration between buyers and manufacturers be improved for promoting sustainability, particularly with regards to labor rights and environmental impact?
Thank you. Very critical question. First of all, thank you. Thank you, Mustafiz and Denim Expo, for inviting me here. And I'm humbled to be on the stage in front of my colleague Asnath and Amer and many others. Let me reply to the point. And this is, I'm sure a lot of people might get hurt. The challenge here is that we are operating, each of us is operating on a silo method. We do not believe in we believe in I. My other speakers say during COVID what could happen, but what actually happened, that we paid salary to our workers from our pocket, taking loan from the government, thanks to government that they came up with a soft loan. But did our customers pay for that? No. They rather dumped a lot of quantities, cancelled, hold, and threatened us. So that does not say that we are connecting the dots. Going forward, if we have to leave this world keeping all the sustainability index, we have to connect. We have to connect the dots. Dennis just said that they are innovating technology, and the machines are expensive. But at the long run, that pays off because you reduce the water consumption. How many customers appreciate that and pay that appreciated price? Of course, for a middle-sized manufacturer, buying the entire setup into Tonello is not possible. So the customers should come forward that, look, you are my long-term partner. Here you go. Take loan from me, get Tonello conversion, make sure that the water is less consumed, and I am your partner in progress. I believe sustainability. You see, we talk about traceability. And my other speaker just now said we will have to come up with all the traceability report. No matter what, because the European Union and other international government bodies are coming up with all traceability documentation. In fact, all the HRDD coming up from European Union, we are bound to disclose all the reports. If we don't, our goods will not be cleared. Now, having said that, how many of us actually understood the cost of it? And did we design, say, to talk about the labor, when we connect the dots, instead of connecting the dots, we operate on silo method. We did not even classify the tier or clustering the manufacturers and determining the cost. If we even talk about transition or transformation of the industry from this polluted condition up to sustainable condition, where we say that energy being efficiently utilized, that transformation or transition has a cost. Did any of the import partners, did any of the retailers think that our manufacturer is us and then we can invest on them? Because some of the infrastructural investment we cannot really pay by 5 years. Even the financial institution do not come up with 10 years or 20 years financing plan for those. Even we are trying to have renewable energy into our plans. We are still fighting with organizations to pay, to give us a longer period payback. So how do we exist? How do we discuss that? How do we think that we are actually secured? We are not at all secured when we are thinking I and not we. So to be very precise, talk about labor, talk about air quality, talk about water quality. Yesterday I was in a conversation where one of my factory owners say that he have to dig in his premises 3 times to see the water level. He digged for the water and then 100 feet, now he have 150 feet, now 200 feet. Can you imagine how much water we have? I was just asking Chris that what are the most innovated washing methodology and how many liter of water you need to produce 1 kilo of neat fabric. He said at least 3 kilo. You know, in Europe, 3 liter water cost at least €3. How much we sell a t-shirt? Not even a $2. So are we having a fair price, a sustainable price? Not at all. We got to connect with all. We got to sit down together. We got to cost all this. We got to make a bigger plan, and we got to say we are serious saving this planet. We are serious. Gen Z is not going to let us go. They are going to read this traceability report. They are going to ask us question. What the hell you are doing with this planet? We have to keep innovating, but we have to get the innovation not just being commercially sold. We have to be responsible. But I am sure that Chris alone cannot do that. We all, the entire ecosystem, have to understand the developmental cost of Chris and sustainable continuity of Chris so that Chris keep innovating. And each of the part, be it a chemical supplier, be it a manufacturer, be it an industry partner, technology partners, everybody have to keep innovating and understand how do we reduce, reuse, and recycle. Talk about labor, talk about any energy situation. I'm not sure whether I answer your question.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for your really valuable inputs and the points. So With that, we would like to hear from the audience. So the floor is open to the audience. And I would request whenever you question, please tell your name, organization, and also if you have any particular person in the panelist want to answer your question, also mention that. So please.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So first of all, I would like to thanks to Mustafi sir to arrange such kind of beautiful session. So here actually I would like to questions to Rakib sir. Basically, you nicely say so. There is some dots you want to connect. So, thanks to government, he is paying to the manufacturing to invest the money, and our manufacturing they are trying to invest the money to the environmental department to keep the sustainable in our country. So, my question is to as a brand BZMA director. So, is there any initiative? So, you are trying to encourage to the manufacturing ECR department so that or to associate with the brands so that you can push to the brands to connect the dots. So currently we are saying that most of the factories they are assigned actually environmental expert, like they are graduated from the university, or also they are engineering expert. But some of the factories, some persons they are actually commerce background. They are not related with the environmental. So these are the questions to you. How you can BZMA can help to arrange a seminar to encourage the owners. They can take the right person from the for the right for the right place. And also you can you please share us how we can initiate to the brands to connect the dots. Thank you.
Thank you. I actually missed your name, but to answer your question, BGME is keep moving to negotiate. Whenever, say, last week, the buyers forum was there, and we just mentioned all these. We say when your sustainability team go to the factory, they appreciate a lot of good initiative in all ESG. But when your sourcing team come, they don't even know what this last team talk about. So they are internally not connecting. So there are connectivity needed internally and externally. And we got to create the ecosystem where the partners, when you say manufacturers, technology partners, academy, and industry. So we are trying to negotiate. Even last week, there was a US ambassador with all the labor specialists from their State Department, and we was also mentioning about the labor right and responsibility and efficiency and wage versus productivity. So talk about connecting the environmentalists to make sure that the technology and expertise are there in each of the factory to understand. We are also encouraging the government, even though this is not good for us, from BGMEA, we are telling the ministry that you kind of come up with a training program for each of us, and if that training certification is not available in the factory for getting that knowledge, you can say that you will not extend their environment certificate for the next year. We are even talking to that authorities in that direction so that our owners, our mid-level technicians, they grow. And what we say that for next 3 years, what are the most important 3 points to grow capacity of this industry? We say people, people, people. We say training, training, and training. Upskilling, reskilling, and adaptability towards Industry 4. If we don't do that, this industry will not have 100 billion shape, irregardless whatever we are dreaming for. Thank you.
We will take a few more questions from the audience, so please arrange your question in the mind. In the meantime, we would like to watch a short video on the 9 years journey of Bangladesh Denim Expo. As we all know, Denim Expo played an instrumental role also in redefining collaborations. So starting in 2014, it's a 9-year journey, and it's a 14th edition of Denim Expo is organizing today, and here started also. So I would like to request the volunteer to run the 9 years journey video of Bangladesh Denim Expo.
Showcasing the best of the denim industry since 2014, bringing together top brands, manufacturers, and fashion leaders from around the globe to network, learn, and drive sustainable change with a focus on sustainability, innovation, and collaboration. The Bangladesh Denim Expo continues to thrive, unifying an impressive lineup of 350 plus exhibitors from over 35 countries, showcasing their latest and innovative denim creations. The Expo has welcomed an impressive number of 64,000 plus visitors from over 60 countries, with 2,100 plus of them being companies and brands. Over the years, the Bangladesh Denim Expo has hosted a wealth of knowledge and expertise, featuring 80 plus seminar sessions and 45 plus presentations by more than 110 renowned speakers. Around 60% of the visitors are C-suite executives and industry leaders who are leading the new market trends. The Expo also offers innovative side events like trend zones, presentations, experience and networking zones, and more. This year's theme, Innovator, highlights the revolutionary ideas and trends of the denim industry. Join us at the 14th edition of the Bangladesh Denim Expo at ICCB on May 16th and 17th.
What a magnificent journey of 9 years. So would you like, again, a big round of applause for the Bangladesh Denim Expo. So with that, we'd also take 3 or 2 more questions from the audience on the topic, redefining collaboration for the sustainable apparel industry. So whoever you ask the question would request again to first share your name and the organizations. And yes, please share your name and the organizations.
Hi, this is Asim. Actually, I have a very little question with Dr. Karthik, especially it's about PFAS. So we understand PFAS has been identified as one of the concerned material which is injurious to the health. So I would like to know, like, do we have any idea like when we are going to replace that chemical, that material, because it has multiple applications on current textile product and textile garments and fabric finishes. Thank you.
Yeah. So PFAS, for all of our understanding, I would like to bring an important concept. It is not only present in textiles. PFAS is a chemical component which is being used in all kind of surface coatings. Like we might have been using non-stick cookware in our home, which has a Teflon coating, which has PFAS. We talk about the glossy effects, the shine, which we bring on our automobiles or sometimes on the shoes, or coated fabrics, coated laminates, synthetics, leather coated finishes, and all those kind of things. Every coated surface has PFAS. That is perfluoroalkyl is the component name, which will need to be stopped. There is no alternative, there is no replacement. We need to stop coating of the surfaces because we started glorifying the shine, right? The surface, That is what we have started glorifying. Not we don't look at the in-depth content. So time for us to go back, time for us to become sustainable in terms of actually identifying and eliminating wherever we are using PFAS. But at the same time, there is always a kind of a limit which is allowed, permissible, and we will be able to test. Like Eurofins, we have the capability to test and tell whether the PFAS content is within the permissible limits. We are going to kind of arrange certain seminars in the month of June, and we will be able to invite almost all the participants of Denim Expo, and all other who are involved in the apparel industry would like to collaborate with BGME also, because this is such an important topic, which if you say the alternative name or a terminology for PFAS is forever chemicals. This can never be eliminated from the earth. Once we start using it, it's not biodegradable, it's not processable in such a way it can be converted into any other format. So it's such a dangerous chemical, we need to stop using it. Thank you.
Thank you. And any more questions from the audience? Please raise your hands. So no more questions? Oh, okay. Volunteers, could you please hand over the mic to the person at the back? Kindly tell your name and organizations, then ask the question.
Hello, good afternoon. I am Momenul Islam. I'm working in Auto International as a senior merchandiser. My question is to Abdullah Hil Rakib. I want to know what are the current challenges our vendors are facing to establish the sustainable supply chain in Bangladesh. Number one. Number two, what we are thinking to use our local raw materials to use like viscose or something like this. So if we can do it, we can compete with the other markets, and we can give the better support to our customers. Thank you.
Well, hello. So thank you, Momino. Thank you. Good to see you after a long time. Challenges is everywhere, because I was just mentioning those points that you have to believe in it, and you have to connect the dots and partnering combinedly to solve the solution. I alone cannot survive. That we have to believe, because everybody think, okay, I got a good price, I have my seasons covered, I have my markup, I can handle, my retail growth is there. But they have to believe that to make it really sustainable, you have to partnering the manufacturer, technology experts, and you have to keep innovating, keep reducing, reusing, and recycling. How much we are reducing, how much we are recycling? My speaker, another speaker already say this, about 11% of all those. So where we are and where we should be, and I know that tomorrow we cannot change overnight, but are we committed? No, we are not committed, none of us. And I'm sorry, but this is the fact. Our manufacturers are being deprived, not having a fair price, even though they invest into all those parameters. If you see that after Rana Plaza, all those resilient attitude from all the investors to even achieve, you see a revolution has happened for the green factories. Over 500 green factories has come up. None of them are happy to say that I am happy that I have good prices. Do not understand, they do not understand why they have invested. They say that I'm feeling stupid, that why I did invest into that mark, why I should have a lead platinum factory whereby my partners do not know how to appreciate or how to tear down into pricing. The sustainable say, if it is a Tonello machine, if that support the water consumption to get reduced, the ecosystem have to say that we want all Tonellos. But ecosystem does not say that. Ecosystem does not have the pre-costing sheet perfect to have the consideration of the sustainability index. So first of all, if you do not have the costing inbuilt, if you do not review everybody's stakes into it, the ecosystem will not be built. I cannot simply pay a fair wage to my worker if I do not have I do not been rewarded with a fair price. Of course, efficiency matters, but how much efficiency you want me to raise where price is not efficient? So, of course, being local suppliers, I'm sure they are also innovating. They are also trying to have renewable materials, recycled materials, and natural resources to blend. And of course, in terms of cotton, in terms of denim, more or less, I would say that to have the risk of supply chain disruption, denim and cottons are more or less secured. But we are not really secured in terms of polyester and man-made fiber, where is the potential growth potential is there. If we want to go for $100 billion growth, we have to focus on non-cotton. And unfortunately, for the recycling methodology for recycling, in terms of non-cotton, there is less innovation has happened. So we have to reinvest. We have to fund. None of us give fund. Yesterday we was in a discussion with one of our mentors, and we said that psychologically, are we ready to give fund to the universities to do a research to innovate something locally? No, we never give to any of the university to do a research. None of us give, not even as a charity. So how do you believe that we are ready? We are not ready. We have to make sure that we campaign enough to make the awareness to make us ready. I mean, I might hurt many people, but that's the reality. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I would like to make a supplement question to Tonello, is, as we had that in sustainability mean investment. And it's the manufacturers who are actually investing. So in your business policy or in your methodology of the marketing, is there any way that you are also collaborating to somehow pay back the machine's price later, or do you have any conversations with the buyers also so that they can also collaborate from any of their front to the manufacturers? So if you kindly share some things on it.
Very, very difficult question, this one. Because many times somebody is asking if we can help to give some helps to buy our machine. Okay, so we are trying to look, because we are not a bank, so we cannot help in that regard. We are trying to find somebody that is giving some subsidies, giving some money at very low rate to buy our machine. In Italy, there is some organization like this, but I don't think this is the point where we should start, because the price of the machine has to come out from the government price. Otherwise, there is no point. So, and if you are going to invest in such expensive equipment to reduce the liquid ratio or to improve the life of the workers, because it's another good aspect, somebody should recognize this and to give a better price. I cannot go to customer and they will tell to me, listen, Dennis, I would like to buy your machine, but if they are reducing my garment price, how I can sustain this investment? It's impossible for me. So we need to find together a way that they have to invest in the new technology to make somebody else happy, because they can show to their customer that they are getting green garments. But this is a brainwash. This is an investment that everybody has to make. And as I told you before, starting from the consumer, passing through the buyer, and arriving to the final manufacturer. So you can invest in a good technology because everybody is investing in this. Because only one investing, sooner or later this one will close the company and will go to Maldives to enjoy the life. That is better. So I think this has to be reviewed. But this is always, like I told before, still the profit is our God. Everybody is looking only for profit, especially from Western mentality. It is impossible that everybody will survive. Somebody will die and somebody will grow. So this, I think, is the point.
Thank you. So, any questions from the audience? No. So, I think we are almost at the end of the panel discussions. Before concluding the panel discussions, I would also like to share with you that one of the important element of the sustainability is nowadays going to circular model from linear model, and the first ever circular apparel and textile summit and Bangladesh Circular Economic Summit will be organized by Bangladesh Apparel Exchange on 15 June 2023, and you can easily register for the summit by the QR code engraved in the stand just behind your sitting arrangement, and I think you would be enlightened to be there. And yes, so one more last question from the Mustafi sir. Yes.
I was little hesitant whether I should ask the question or not, but last 2 days I was listening all the panel speeches and all. I usually like to speak, but it's very difficult for me not to speak. So today I decided to ask some questions, which is playing in my mind from yesterday. If I just summarize the questions, the panel discussion we had last 2 days, one thing echo to my ear all the time, that's all about price. We're having a discussions. Whatever the panel we had yesterday's and whatever the panel we have today, if I just summarized, most of the panelists and the questions came also about the price of the garments. So I would have share one of my questions to Rakib Bhai about this. I had written an article in Daily Star 2017 about the floor prices. Those who you follow my weekly article in Monday Daily Stars, I had raised a question that okay, before that, I would like to say I'm 22 years in this industry, starting from a merchandiser, becoming an entrepreneur. I had a lot of friends in this apparel industry who are at the moment even in the CEO level. They are in the global brand CEO. So sometimes I have a very open discussion with them and the buyers. I ask them, why do you do that? Like Rakib Bhai asked, $3 price of water and the t-shirt price is $2. And then they said me something very different story. They said it to me, when we come to Dhaka, we want to pay $5, but one of your factory comes and say $2. So what can I do in front of my boss? Should I lose my job in front of my boss and tell to the manufacturer that why you are asking $2, why don't you are asking $1? And the similar questions when I asked to my fellow colleagues, the factory owners, and sometimes I hear from them that 10 of them went together to Paris and they decided that they will quote a certain price and they will not come down from that. But at the end of the time, everybody wants to return home with lots of order and then they reduce their prices. So my questions will be to Rakib Bhai, is BGMEA can take any initiative where they can fix a minimum price that below that price, nobody should come down. I think rather than keep talking about the buyers who don't want to pay more money, I think we cannot change the buyers, but can we do something among us? Because we all know there is no other destination rather than Bangladesh for these buyers. Last 2 days, if I hear all these questions. So can we expect that our trade associations will come up with certain things that where they can tell to the global buyer that, okay, this is the prices for that, and also nobody can go below of that prices. And I'm sure that all the apparel brands and retailers, they really would like to also see that they pay to the fair prices to the manufacturer in Bangladesh. So this is the question to you, Rakib Bhai.
Thank you, Mustafiz. And I really feel that that's a question of that is the exact question of the moment. Let me be very raw. Let me be very raw. On the ecosystem, somebody have to take the call. Say when Rana Plaza collapsed, who take the call? The customers took the call that, hey, come on, you guys are our partner. You guys have to build the safe working home, right? Somebody have to establish the bracket. Now talk about you, that you've been taking the advantage of the situation. See, if there is $1 on the road, will you not have ethical stand not to touch that money on the road? I'm referring to that customers who is complaining that why your factories are coming and offering this and that. If you understand he is my partner, these two factories are my partner, I want to play them long term, you got to educate them what you are doing in others. You are teaching them how do they improve their labor index, their fire safety index. Why don't you educate them in their pricing index? Why don't you be open? None of us, I can bet you, 80% of the factory owners, merchandisers, do not have a proper cost sheet into all those index. Can be the customers come and say, let's sit down, let's sit the cost of your operation, let's sit the cost of the sustainability, let's fix the innovation cost. If you want to transform all the machine to the new technology, I am a partner, I'm going to invest into it. And this is a not 5 years, not 2 months strategy. This is a 10-year strategy, and you are one of my strategic supplier. You are my strategic partners, and let's play open, because my ultimate consumer is gonna also have the traceability report to understand and challenge me whether I'm an ethical sourcing retailer. So I believe I answered your question. And of course, from BGMEA, we are actually telling. Unfortunately, many of our factory owners do not believe that they need to learn, but we are trying. Believe you me, association cannot be an authority to say yes and no. Association can always say that let's do it, let's do it. We are even informing ministry, say that without this and that, you do not renew their license. You do not reissue their license. The business have to be learned first before you start doing the business. So there are many things we have to discuss with the policymakers. There are many things we have to get our owners, our colleagues to learn, and not to get cheated by those so-called ethical partners. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, honorable panelists, for your important time and valuable insights.